American capitalism and the inevitable racism that cycles. So, in my class, I was writing an essay because we were looking at Karl Marx and the Communist Manifesto, and then capitalism and how this all kind of like circumvents and, you know, brings it together, right? So in class, we were speaking about Beyonce because my professor offered up some lyrics from Formation where she's like, I grind till I own it, I work hard, whatever. But basically speaking about like the American dream, kind of like grind until you get it. And you know, I go to a very progressive school, so everybody's like, oh, she's a capitalist, da da da, and speaking to like, you know, the capitalist ideologies that she says in her music. You know, a lot of people are pretty critical about it, bell hooks as well. But when she brought that up and she wrote it on the board, I raised my hand. I'm like, you know, black capitalism is definitely different than what you would normally say capitalism, right? Because it's a difference of going and the means to exploit. It's different when you're exploiting for the means of survival, right? When you look at the poverty rates, it's different when you see 20%, 1 out of 5 black people that is literally in poverty, and that's almost something that you would see as a community in a survival state. You know, and that's where black people are at in capitalism, is in a survival state. So like looking at Beyonce, and she's on the way to being a billionaire, I seen that to get a piece of the share instead of looking at that as just an individual exploitation like Bill Gates or like Jeff Bezos. You know, this is different. It's not just like technological advancements and doing something. Beyonce might be actually reaching a hand back and helping her community. I mean, which, you know, she's done. So, and that leads into what we're going to be talking about next. And that's where black people are at in capitalism, is in a survival state. So how does this cycle continue to happen, and why is it derived through capitalism, right? And it's the means of social production. So Karl Marx offers up this term, social production. It's basically encapsulating what you would think of the reinforcement of capitalist ideologies and the means to reproduce workers, right? So why I say that this is a cycle, capitalism is a cycle that breeds racism and just goes through, because it's the means to keep the black people in the black community in the lowest social class, because that's what you need. You need in order for the bourgeoisie to live comfortably and live in this elitist society, you need the proletariat to stay working. And you need the proletariat to stay working at the poverty level. And that's the laborers and the workers that Marx refers to. And that's in contemporary society and modern society that we're talking about now is black people. You know, we're the lowest social class. I have some statistics to put up, but you know, the black Americans' poverty rate level is like 19 or 20%, and compared to like Asian and white, that's like 8.5. It's like we're more than double their poverty rate, and it's designed to keep us that way. The American capitalist system is designed to keep us that way, right? So, social production. Sorry, I'm in the city. Social production. Right, reproducing workers and the means to reinforce capitalist ideologies. So, for one, reproducing workers, we can see that in the education system. We can see that in you know, the law enforcement system, and because we have less access to attain these high-paying careers, we're not able to rise and build that wealth that, you know, many generations of other races are allowed to build, and that's not even accounting for the leg up that they've gotten because of slavery, because of Jim Crow, and because of all this history type shit, right? Now, what I would like to speak about more, because we already know about the wealth disparities and stuff like that, and how people would say that that's getting better, and, you know, statistics say that the black dollar is not cycling in the community still, right? Which I would sometimes argue that, but we're going to be speaking about the reinforcement of capitalist ideologies, right? So, for example, right, this is a scholarly, peer-reviewed source, COINTELPRO. It's now proven, and it's been released by the FBI, that there was multiple intelligence programs working to derail the black community and derail black leaders. Malcolm, I think his name was Udin, I'm gonna get his first name. I'm gonna put it up. But this is the interview documenting and speaking about these type of situation that was happening, and it was literally aimed and deliberately aimed to take down the black community. And this is not just one piece of history. You know, you have Black Wall Street going down, and you have all these communities that goes down, and a lot of these other communities are allowed to thrive. Chinatown is allowed to thrive. You don't see these type of black communities that have, you know, maybe like Senegalese writing on the walls, and you see that in Jewish communities, you see that in Chinatown, you see that in all these other communities. Little Haiti doesn't have that, and I'm in New York City. So aside from that, right, but the reinforcement of capitalist ideologies is really the focus, is because they have done so much to continue to hurt the black community. And what else can you chalk that up to? Some people would say that's just racism. I don't believe it's just racism, to be honest. I think it's in dire need. And that's what Marx speaks to. You need, there's a way that the social production and capitalism needs for the proletariat to stay in the proletariat spot. And contemporary side, black people to stay in the lowest class. And now, before, you know, I'm a business dude. So initially, I'm like, you know, capitalism, when everybody speaks about anti-capitalist, I'm like, right? And I'm still a little bit iffy about it. I wouldn't consider myself a full anti-capitalist, but I can't negate the fact that the American capitalist society is inevitably racist, and it's continuing to put us in the lowest class, and it's designed to keep us there, right? And that's where you see Marx speaks about this. I'm about to read the quote. Marx states in the Communist Manifesto, "In these crises, there breaks out an epidemic that in all earlier epochs would have seemed an absurdity. The epidemic of overproduction. And how does the bourgeoisie get over these crises? On the other hand, by enforced destruction of a mass of productive forces. The black community attaining wealth is a means of overproduction, and it doesn't work for the capitalist society. Truly. It's a means of overproduction, because if we were to attain the amount of wealth that all the other communities were able to do, then this society wouldn't run."
Since the young and now we dream of getting rich. Look at me, my nigga.
There was other opportunities. A lot of people would argue that there's so many opportunities for black Americans to get wealth and to get access. And I'm not gonna lie, there is growing and progressive opportunities for this to happen, right? But it's not only the fact of the matter of just giving the opportunity, but it's also the unlearning that the community has to do in order to take these opportunities and succeed in these positions, right? Personally, me, I'm a benefactor of an opportunity, right? For example, like, I get my tuition paid for, right? Although I had to fight for it, and I'm more than deserving of this opportunity because I've excelled in the position, right? But I was wired like this from the start. You know, like, my parents implemented and engraved it in my brain that, yo, if you don't go to college, you got nothing else to do. Trust me. And they wired me to be able to do school like secondhand nature. And not a lot of my community, or not a lot of people, are able to have or didn't have that type of push and discipline at a young age like my parents instilled in me. And on top of that, a lot of that should be coupled with therapy. You have to unlearn a lot of these situations that's passed down through generations, and a lot of generations had time and less priority in order to figure out what they needed to do. We were constantly pushed back down in every single way. Social production. To reinforce the capitalist ideologies, a crack epidemic. There's so many little things, the war on drugs, there's so many little things that they do to continue to push us down, and there's nothing else I could reason for it. Other than, this is what capitalism is. Capitalism is the means to continue and push the proletariat down, and the proletariat in American society is black people. Hey, but I mean, and barely any progress is made. But hey, at least we see, you know, BLM stickers on the back of these white girls' laptops that I see at NYU, and at least I see BLM on the street corner going past graffiti. But, you know, this is just something that I like to offer up. As a black person in America, and knowing that the system is designed to take me down, right? Other than accruing wealth and power, am I still aiding the system that's continuing to push my other people down, right? Because in my terms, I would say that I'm a capitalist. You know, I'm going through the school system to attain a lot of money and hopefully to give it back, right? And that's what everybody says, give it back, until, you know, they have some kids, until they have grandparents to take care of and parents to take care of, and now they're just back in the same system that put their other people down before. So, am I anti-capitalist? I guess not yet, you know, but the more that I research and the more that I read, I realize that, you know, you almost have to be an anti-capitalist in order to be black in this society. And luckily, I'm able to do a lot and read a lot about these peer-reviewed sources and sources that I could actually read, and not just bullshit articles from CNN, but sources that I could actually, you know, take some real information from. And I have the access for that, and that's why I'm bringing it to y'all. If y'all like the video, like, subscribe, comment, reshare, hit the post notifications. It's been Saadiq, and I love y'all.
Since a youngin' now we dream of getting rich. Look at me, my nigga, fantasize about a white picket fence.